Canada's ambassador to the United Nations, Bob Rae. Ambassador, congrats on the Abraham Global Peace Initiative Award. And a lot of this is about anti-Semitism, and that's critical. But part of this award is that it's to promote Canada's role in the promotion of human rights. How does Canada continue or try to punch above its weight in a world where it gets pushed around by big giants like China?
Well, I mean, I think we have to recognize the fact that we're not a superpower, but even superpowers get pushed around by others. I would notice. You just have to stand up for what you believe in. I started my comments today by talking about Abraham, and remember what his three words were to God. He said, "Here I am." Well, that's what we have to say as a country. Here we are. We're here, and this is what we believe in. This is what we stand for, and this is what we know to be true. And so our job part of our job is to speak truth, and is to speak about the values that animate and have animated our country for a long time, and actually have animated the United Nations at important moments in time. So it's critical for us to remember that.
You spent a long career doing this, Myanmar, refugees, indigenous rights, all over the anti-Semitism. This has been the cornerstone. That's probably why you're in this job. But the world's changed in 2021. In your view, Bob Rae, what is the biggest threat right now to what has been almost 75 years of a kind of human rights structure in the world? What is the biggest threat right now around the world? And where do we got to focus our attention?
Well, I think it takes many different forms. I mean, first of all, there's the threat of authoritarianism and dictatorship, which is a huge problem and a huge issue, and it's not getting better at the moment. So the fight for democracy, for what we think of as the rule of law, what we think of as the basic structure of rights, equal rights between men and women, and a respect for minorities and a demand for pluralism. These are ideas which are, I would say, under threat, but I also think that we have the courage and the means to fight back. The second is that we're fighting it at a time when misinformation, lying, deception, the surveillance world that we're living in are a profound threat to our privacy rights and to our human rights. And it's a more sort of complicated technological world than we've been in before. Mm-hmm. But if I may say so, Orwell anticipated that in 1984, didn't he? I mean, that's really the world that he described, where people were being controlled and where history was being manipulated, and our collective memory and our ability to understand where we are and who we are was being constantly undermined. So we can fight back, and there is a way to do it.
You're getting this award. A lot of it obviously is about anti-Semitism. But one of the biggest current human rights issues, which you've been speaking about, is the treatment of Muslim Uyghurs in China. The United States, the UK calls it a genocide. Canada has not, although the Conservatives and the NDP agree that it is. Canada's slow on that, calling it a genocide. How does Canada play a role on that situation, standing up for the Uyghurs? This seems to be exactly what this whole situation is about, these moments.
We've been very active here, Evan. I would have been glad to talk to you about it. We've been one of the key countries here that has raised the issue of the Uyghurs on the floor of the General Assembly. We then get into a very active debate with the Chinese. I mean, you can't say anything about any allegation with respect to China without a very vigorous and systematic response. But Canada's been at the forefront of that, and we will continue to be. We've obviously had a challenging time in our relationship with China because of the situation involving the two Michaels. I'm quite confident that the government takes the way in which China treats its minorities, China's disrespect for the rule of law, the question of arbitrary detention. These are all examples of of how dictatorships unfortunately work, and we together with a number of other countries have to do more and have to be more effective in calling it out. But don't. I mean, I think it's important for Canadians to know we're not alone in these battles. We're joined with others. President Biden gave a very positive speech to the Assembly a few days ago. There are a number of other countries that are deeply concerned about these trends against democracy that we see, and I think you're going to see more of that.